I have faith that the Constitution will be saved as prophesied by Joseph Smith. But it will not be saved in Washington.
Travis Wingutzel. It's amazing how well my computer works if AI were to leave me alone. They're laying low now. It's now Tuesday. Oaks is finally going to be informed by the Strengthening Church Members Committee about me. That before his talk, my video content exposed exactly, word for word, everything he would talk about at BYU for his worldwide address. They will have to explain to him why they did not warn him, have an emergency meeting, why they're not having daily meetings about my video content. Because I also, for the video of his BYU talk, I called it in advance that he would choose Gilbert as the succeeding apostle. I've told you that was his favorite choice for a couple of years now. because he's been buddying with him for other speeches and talks. He was grooming him to see if he could be conformed and complied and compromised. And as we all learned, as I did the video Sunday, and they posted it Monday, yeah, he was easily compromised. He's got high position in this church, power over other people that he's been abusing. He has got his whole life dependent upon the church. He's got a family with an 8-cow wife. And so, yes, it is easy to compromise Mormons like that, who will instantly cave even if they don't do so as willingly as Gilbert did. Because I went over with you his line of why he justifies priestcraft, which is the church's justification that Oakes would have told him. Because it's not just for Gilbert in the service in the kingdom, needing to be temporally provided for. That's their justification for hoarding the trillions of dollars. For Jesus, is that this is the kingdom. It needs to be temporally provided for. That is their justification for priestcraft. When the Book of Mormon says, don't do it. And it even says it's the Lord who says don't do it. So obviously the Lord of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is not the same Lord as Joseph Smith's and the Book of Mormons. It's a no-brainer. See, the Lord of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints allows for child bride polygamy rape, but not the Lord of the Book of Mormon and of Joseph Smith. Folks will also find out from the Strengthening Church Members Committee, with Cook in charge, and if any of the 70 presidency who are also involved also show up for a big presentation, which will primarily be focused on me. Because if it's not, oh wow, you're allowing me full reign to expose you? I don't get it. You do know about the art of war, right? You clearly know Trump's art of the deal. That I exposed that his great-granddaughter hates him. And Gilbert, whichever day of the week the financial meeting is. If it's Thursday, so be it. You'll have to wait till then to know the total asset value of the church, finally. To know the temporal providing amount for the kingdom. But also, Gilbert, you may not get this video, because they've got a lot of videos that they have to assemble and report on. What's up? So, yep. Oh, wow. His brother also works at the church office building, huh? And has been the cause of the problems. Screwing up the sociology of Mormonism for you guys in your report. Whichever day of the week that report is. You really need to fix this committee meeting thing. It's not working. I would suggest getting better people in the job. More qualified, using the scientific method, Oaks. Not the spiritual method. My brother should have told you in advance when you threatened him to attack me. You weren't listening. You never listen, because you're in a position of power over people. And those kinds of people always are vulnerable because of their pride and arrogance and, Oaks, lack of humility. So, yep. So, for those of you who are new and you're wanting to rush to judgment, having this be your first video ever, you're not getting it. Not getting it at all. You have never in your entire life been told the truth. And when you have faith only in a lie, in a falsehood, you never produce the results. You never know that the word you've believed in your whole life is false. It is of necessity that you follow the scripture's test, the scientific method, by the way, to find out the results of the word so that you don't get lied to by con men, by murderers, by thieves, by kidnappers. And you will not listen, will you? So because you fall for the lies, you then have a specific interpretation of the word. And that results in your criminal behavior, in your hatred, in you committing the murders, the kidnappings, the cyber terrorism, the thefts, spreading the lies, getting it all circulated on social media so that the circulated lies become the new normal and the common truth. The common sense based on a lie. And until you are hurt by this, you will never know the truth. That's why, after Oakes's talk, telling the youth to breed, I pointed out to you the BYU football player reported later that week who was arrested for rape. He's a Mormon, emulating the living prophets of Jesus' false teachings. These are the consequences of believing and not testing for truth a lie. cyber terrorist attack on Sunday for 8 hours and 18 minutes. Because the Mormon who programmed it to do that, if he wasn't at the computer pushing a button, boop, gotcha, Travis. Because it was Sunday. Maybe he's making the sacrifice. I'm just pulling the ox out of the mire to commit crimes against Travis. Remember, if you believe in a lie, which is false interpretation too, you never know the truth. And consequences follow. The Mormons who constantly put a thumbs down because they rush to judgment. You never get it. You're not hurting me. I don't give a damn what other people think of me. I am here on a specific, special church service mission for this past decade. Having given up my life and my interests, because I would rather be making the board game Dungeons and False Prophets. Frustrating women for being a male. Right, Idaho chick? Now you know how we feel. Can't we all just get along? Yeah, Civilization 3 and Pyramid and the Cleopatra Pyramid computer games. Designing my own game that I finally figured out. Back in 2008. A board game? What is this? You're a terrorist. This is code, isn't it? Terrorists don't do board games. Yeah, no duh. You believed in the falsehood. Consequences follow. So yes, what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints did to me in 2008 is what triggered the consequences that they never wanted. So 8 days later, had my Hinckley dream that then was a continuation of another fulfillment of my Big 86 dream. Just turned a priest to get the priesthood for the ministering of angels. Dreams. Hey, where's she going? No, she's coming with me across the street. No, she's not. Yes, she is. I want her to come with me across the street. No, she's not going to go across the street with you. Yes, she is. No, she's not. Yes, she is. I'm going to tell her to come with me, and she will come with me. No, she won't. She's going to go around the building and get caught by the guards. But I don't want her to get caught. Tough. She's gonna get caught. So here we are. Zion. Daughters of Zion. And so, 2016, Monson Dream. 2024, Irene Dream. 2025, Oaks and Holland Dream. What we have witnessed from me for the past decade, we'll summarize it for you here, is that I exposed my gift and power of Revelator. The calendar date and clock time, day and the hour of astronomy for the death of Monson. Called it. For Nelson, the gift and power of seer. Uh-oh, Nelson, I had a bread dream. You need to fear and tremble. Uh-oh, Nelson, I had a flood dream. You need to fear and tremble. Uh-oh, Nelson, now I've had a cookie dream. Don't mess with the cookie. Bye-bye. On the day and the minute. So take that, no man knows the day or the hour. I knew the minute and called it out in advance. From dreams. And for Oaks, it's all been prophecies. For which he will finally be informed today. Oh, Cook, some heads are gonna roll. You guys just treat me lightly. You think by silencing me on YouTube, you're going to prevent my gifts and powers, huh? Yeah, how'd that work for Nelson again? How'd that work for Monson? I even called Holland out in advance. Ooh. At least I'm not dead yet. Bye-bye. 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 And so Mormons who refuse to run the test on me, who use their spiritual witness faith to judge me, yeah, you'll never know the truth. You'll continue to believe the lie and commit crimes and hatred against me. The church has never taught you the truth. And, like I've repeated, I was the very first class which, I'm not sure, Gilbert. Were you in my brother's grade level or were you in my grade level? When did you graduate again? When? I don't know if they'll tell you in your file. Let's see if we can find out. Assuming that I still have it. Which I might not. Nope, I only have the pretty pictures that I've now created. Crap. Okay. Should have kept them, but all right. So, all three have all had my gift and power of translator. That's what I started off on YouTube with, before I changed. I am doing the will of my Father this whole decade. Yeah. My mom never understood either. Dying on 12/21/21. Assassinated by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because they were busy attempting to murder me that time. They did not want me to have a place to live. And so they murdered her to make sure I wouldn't. But for President Trump, you dumbass. Talk about a clueless man. All the gifts and powers for Trump. In 2020, I then revealed I have the keys, or as Oakes calls it, the mantle of title. Of the man like Moses to be the president of the church, to lead Mormons to Zion to safety. And despite my repeated pictures hoping that Mormons would go, oh, that's how the Spirit works. That's how the scriptures were written. That's how we liken them unto ourselves. Nope. The stupidity of Mormons and their spiritual witness faith in lies makes them blinded, lame, possessed, sick, dead to the truth. All because of Roman Emperor Constantine, the great deceiver. So, December 2014. After getting out at the beginning of the year, in February actually. Isn't that interesting? Oh boy. In December, the compensation for damages for not pursuing a legal case against me in 2008 was given to me. And I can disclose it. It was over a decade ago. It's gone. $21,000. That was my compensation for what they falsely did to me, criminally did to me in 2008. So, I was looking for a place to live. And just barely a minute too late, because a couple was there at the desk getting that apartment instead of me. Just missed it. And so, going back to the apartment that I was forced into, they found out that I was trying to find a place to live. And they were panicked. Because they need to keep me as a hostage, in bondage to them. Because I had time served for never being sentenced, never having a trial, never being found guilty of anything. Welcome to the state of Utah, where spiritual witness feeling method reigns supreme. Life on falsehood. There's a storm coming, Mormons. How many of you are prepared? I'm supposed to do that first. Oops. Wasn't written down. But yeah, the storm we're getting is a type and shadow of the storm that's coming for Armageddon. And you're not prepared. You're still believing in spiritual witness feeling methods. And so, while they were finding what would be the West Valley apartment, I had a dream. And in the dream, I was moving. And the Elders Quorum president from that ward boundaries that I was in the dream helping me move. And I think there were a few other elders, but I had to do the majority of the work. That typically is the case. And we got off an elevator with the dolly with the boxes stacked up, and I brought them to the door of the apartment. And all the boxes were stacked there in front of the door. Didn't go in, all stacked out in front of the door. And then, as all of them left, the Elders Quorum president was making sure I'm good to go. And I went, oh crap, it's the wrong apartment number. It's that one over there. Room number 202. and I had to do it myself. And so I pondered for weeks after. 202, 202, 202. 202 days? 20th month? Second day? Couldn't figure it out. In February, I am able to get into the West Valley apartment. And talking with the property manager on the phone, she asks, when do you want to move in? And we're already into February. And so I find out, I can move in anytime this month. It doesn't have to be in the start of March. So I said the 20th of February. She said, great. And so then she called up the next day and said, I'm not going to be there on the 20th, but if you want to move in, you can. And because I won't be there until Monday, the 23rd. Yeah. And so I said, that's fine, I'll come on the 23rd. And I was able to move in on the 23rd. The one caseworker at the building in Salt Lake drove me in the van. I had to pack it myself. I had to hurry up. Nonetheless, at the corner of a particular street by Smith's, I noticed a U-Haul store rental. And that triggered my spidey senses. And I was always very curious of that, because with the Hinckley dream in 2008, whole flood of knowledge came into my head on how to design, build, and run Zion. And I've told you, I was pissed. I'm here for the rest of my life, until I die. Why are you doing this to me? So when I got out in 2014, February, to the shock and horror of everybody who was trying to hold me hostage, I went, okay, so it's coming up sometime, huh? So 200 years? And so then, yes, lunar eclipses for the tetrad, 2014, 2015. And I've corrected and filled in the gaps that author missed, that Mormons were incomplete on. Bye-bye, Perry Packer Scott. And Scott is on Yom Kippur. Ouch, that hurts. 10th day of the 7th month. So it would be the 10th day of the 1st month. That's interesting. Need to have some heads are gonna roll instrumental as elevator music while I check this out. Uh-huh. 27th of February. Uh-huh. No. Nope. Interesting. Alright, whatever. Just curious. Just curious. So yes, all of this, I'm thinking about the latter days. Remember, we're Latter-day Saints for a reason. It ain't about the restored gospel. It's about Armageddon, the coming of the Christ, and getting to Zion, the New Jerusalem. And I'm horrified that Mormons don't even know why it's in the name of the church. And I told you they were going to change the name. You didn't believe. Because you can't be Latter-day Saints in the millennium. You're now millennial saints. You know, Grizzlies. You're now the Grizzlies. It'd be more appropriate to be Mormon crickets. The mighty Mormon crickets. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Mommy, I'm scared. Raid! Or at least the seagulls that ate up all the food that Mormons could have had for food, complaining that they were starving because the crickets ate the crops. Eat the crickets. Tastes like chicken. We prayed for rescue and the seagulls came and ate them all up. And so then we didn't have food and we starved and died. The end. Yes, everything is for this end. Conference talk after conference talk, we were always being told that we better pay our tithing or we're going to get burned. Better obey or you're going to get burned. You better keep your temple covenant path or you're going to get burned. And you didn't catch on that? And as Latter-day Saints, we're all about Armageddon and the millennium. And all the scriptures that keep repeating the pattern of a man like Moses. Even the story of Moses. You never likened it unto yourself? Moses isn't the head of the church, Pharaoh is. And a regular Mormon has to save Mormons from the head of the church. You never thought to do that? I mean, yeah, Chad Daybell did. Brand David Mitchell did. They understood the scriptures, just not correctly, because you can't mix faith in the falsehood with your new truth. Dumbasses. Consequences. You have to find the true word to get it correct. You should have run the test on me. That's all you had to do. All you had to do. So, Benson's video clip from BYU. Constitution will not be saved in Washington. Joseph is false. Joseph is a liar. And McConkie. There's no guarantee all the saints will be saved. Ain't gonna happen. You're all gonna die. Some heads are gonna roll. All of the threats to obey. And Oakes comes out and says, no man knows the day or the hour. Really? Really, Oakes? The church forced me in West Valley by 2019. They started at the end of 2017. I wonder why. Go to my video page, click on popular. Oh, July 2017. Notice how nothing even comes close. Unbelievable. Now check my current video stats. Oh, from almost 40,000 views for the one video, and I struggled to get a couple to a few dozen. Remember, I've proven the gifts and powers. This is the abuse of this church who knows me, who fears me so much that they commit crimes against me to shut me up, to silence my voice, to not save you. Because they keep sucking at trying to murder me. I told you, this is not what I want to be doing with my life. I am doing the will of my Father this whole time. To save you from what's about to happen, unless you're already dead because of what Oakes did in 2020. It started off as a breakout video, and then they shut it down after the second hour. But at least Oakes is likely to get a report on it. We'll see. They may not. I don't know how they're going to do it. There had to have been guys working in between times before the meeting today. Because why else would you be cyber terrorizing me? To make sure I don't get a breakout video over the weekend. Again. Just so sad. Another mother murdering her child and then herself. Another Mormon mother. And I recognize that name. She's been in the news locally before because of the cheer team of her daughter. And I think her, whatever position she was in, I recognize the name. And it would have been from the news. So she is well known. And that was an obvious video to make. All because Oaks ran a test run in 2020. Because everything in the Exodus story happened that year. Except for the Exodus to get you to Zion. Because they were running a test run instead. And we didn't find out about it until November 2024. God, it's 2026? Oh. Each extended year, I just collapse. You bastard, Oaks. This time it's Trump's fault because he failed in 2025. They purposely let him go, reminded him of his failure with the hearings, where we found out Mitt Romney almost got hung next to Mike Pence. Hung, not hanged. Brits are wrong. We need to correct their English. We're American. We correct the Brits. We don't make English Great Britain again. But I didn't understand what happened. I did everything on my part. I parted the waters. I thought that was metaphoric, spiritual. Nope. The Spirit. And I did the videos. If it hits the fan, meet at the Green River overpass. Do not go prematurely. Wait for it to hit the fan. Another person thought he would be a dumbass. I'm here. Where are you? I showed up. Get the hell off my channel. I gave up everything to be here. Well, that was stupid of you, wasn't it? But I called it. Because next year, the Green River overpass has dried up. The Green River has dried up. Do not understand yet how the Spirit works. I didn't stand before the river and raise my hands with my scepter. An elderly lady panicked on a comment on one of my videos. Is that a snake? That's a snake. That's of the devil. Are you there yet for the lessons? What lesson did you have on Sunday? I don't have it out ready to go. Old Testaments. There's the picture. Here's the manual. Bye-bye, Kirk. Bye-bye. Oaks is a hard taskmaster. He doesn't like failure. Alright, so 9 to 15. That would have been the lesson. Genesis 6 through 11 and Moses 8. Is that on Enoch? Some heads are gonna roll. Heads are gonna roll. I got kicked out of Sunday school class for this one. The older singles ward with a female teacher who's now allowed to read the manuals because Oaks was the one who allowed women to be equal with men and read the manuals in class. Don't study, just read the manual. But a Joseph Smith translation for this. The flood story. With the daughters of the sons of God marrying the sons of men. Eat, drink, and get married, for tomorrow you all die from Armageddon. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? As in the days of Noah, so shall it be for Armageddon. My spirit will not strive with the leaders of the false church, a great and abominable church. You have to listen to Noah. You have to get in the ark. If you do not get in the ark, you will not survive. And you're dead. No Zion for anybody. The Millennial Games is a bust. We can't have a tie. I'm planning on the Hunger Games picture for the thumbnail. So far, nothing in the video. We're just gonna fix that. So I'm stuck. What happened? Why didn't the Exodus happen? Why aren't I in Zion? Why aren't Mormons saved? So, yeah, I was given death threats by the replacement property manager. Threatening to kick me out the next year. Despite that was their perfect opportunity, they crushed me from being able to petition the government for a redress of grievances and notifying my government that the church is going to coup America with an insurrection. Bill Barr. You get these people in positions of power, and they botch it every time. I'm the decider, Dad. Well, you suck, son. I offered my men to help you out, and you rejected them. And you got Mr. Shoot him in the face as your vice president. Can you imagine that MAGA is so extreme that Dick Cheney is a sensitive snowflake to them? Even Tricky Dick is a sensitive snowflake to them. Oh, dear God. I really like that movie, Dick. With Mary Jane, with the spidey senses tingling. Oh, God. Little blonde girls taking care of the dog caused the fall of the president. Not Deep Throat, the Mormon. It's the two little girls. Moral of the story, don't be a dick. Right, Trump? I want to be just like Nixon. I've got my buddy here who tattooed his whole back with a face of Nixon. I pardoned him for his crimes. I mean, his innocence. That evil Antifa. So, I am well aware of the Mormon myth, of the priesthood meeting at Adam-on-Diomen, preceding Armageddon. But I can't find the primary source document. Who said it? Everybody says it was Joseph. Everybody says all sorts of stuff. Where is the primary source document? I am not quite sure when the anonymous Mormon made me the picture of 19 July 1840. If it was before this or the next year after. But it was somewhere right around that same time. From the Joseph Smith papers. Joseph Smith's sermon, expanding upon section 101's parable, verse 51 of the fall of the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Brigham Young and his Danites. Because Joseph Smith calls out Brigham Young by referring to Mark chapter 14 for the Last Supper, using Jesus' character as Joseph Smith and Judas as Brigham Young. Is it I? And is it I? Calling out Brigham Young to murder him and to murder all of us in the latter days. Just like he said in the 1838 visions. Get the right name of the church from the Joseph Smith Papers. And get that Moroni crap out of there. It's Nephi. New name Nephi. At the Temple of Angels. Los Angelinos. Yeah, there's gifts and powers with the Spirit. There ain't no gifts and powers with mantle titles. Nonetheless, so I needed to find that document. YouTube shut me down from posting videos, having lied. The abuse of social media and YouTube, they will never stop, even getting sued now. It's not for addiction. It's the wrong argument, you dumbass. It's extortion threats. Little kids are extorted on social media. That's why it's called sextortion. When a little kid is threatened to be exposed for sending a dick pic if they don't give them money or whatever else they're threatening to do after getting the dick pic from the kid. And then they kill themselves instead of caving to be exposed. Social media is doing a different version of extortion. That is the problem, parents. Because you didn't bother to teach your kids how to use the internet. You just assumed the school was going to do it. School's still an old school on learning about the Bible through paintings. For which the Antifa is saying it's porn. And the new technology of sculptures is protested bigly. We need to go back to paintings. This new technology is of the devil. I'm sure a Simpsons episode has that. It does. One of the earlier ones just popped in the head. Ooh, think about the children. With the museum in Springfield and all of the great works being shown there. But what Christians did to the library at Alexandria is unforgivable. Constantine comes out with the first creed, and Christians immediately destroy the real history records, destroying all the scriptures of other cultures, because now they have the first creed of Christianity. Just pure evil. So we're getting close to October 2021's General Conference. Nothing happens, despite I called it parted the waters. The church cooed the government. Mormons got exposed on live TV camera footage. Dumbass. We're just smearing poop on the walls for vacation. We're just on vacation. It's what we do. And the Southern Poverty Law Center got a hold of the membership of the secret combination seeking to overthrow the government of the United States of America. So I obtained a copy for myself. And went searching through it. Oh, crap. Cleon Skousen was the first member of the group back in '81. And there's his firstborn birthright blessing son to succeed him upon his death. There's the church's special church missionary who was invited to the Council of Adam-on-Diamond. Still haven't found the document yet. But I found the secret combination council. So I wasn't making that connection yet. I found that the church is tied to the overthrow of the government. That I called in advance warning my government and they didn't listen. We had to go through the Captain Obvious hearings on it. Delayed, late, extended, so that Trump could get away with all of his crimes. To be reminded, do our will or next time you go to prison. And so you failed for 2025? The great AI projector had you projected to be the winner over Kamala Harris, who had the biggest financial support of a candidate ever, with the biggest support ever, and she lost? And to this day, Antifa believes that Kamala lost, that she failed. It was way too late. The whole Biden thing of mental retardation just ruined it all. That LGBTQ voted for Trump, that women voted for Trump, that blacks voted for Trump, that Democrats voted for Trump. That illegals voted for Trump twice on bamboo ballots. And you fell for that? You didn't challenge it? You didn't ask for a manual count in the first time ever AI programmed ballot voters? Voting machines? Dear bleeping hell! I've been warning you about AI. Of the malware virus fraud that it is. I warned Biden in advance. You dumbass! Do it now before it's too late. Because Trump will get you. And all y'all. And ta-da! Security clearance is gone. Setting things up to remove them from the United States of America. With the whole citizenship ID thing. His whole blacklist of those who are illegal, trans Antifa, communist terrorists, furry from Venezuela, now about to be Cuba, and maybe even Iran. You're not listening to me. See, with Enoch that you had the previous week, he was a seer in the Joseph Smith translation that you went over, right? Whether it was with your family or in church on Sunday. The people feared him because he was a seer. Because of the gifts and powers as a seer. Not because he has a mantle title. The book makes it very clear. He's got powers. And it's scaring people. And yet, no matter what amount of evidence from Mormons, they will not be convinced because they're idiots. So says Mark Twain. So say we all. So say we all. Best reboot ever. Best spin-off of the reboot ever. And by a Mormon, by the way. Battlestar Galactica. And so I do the video to test out, and then YouTube is allowing me back to do videos, but it's too late. My conference videos failed to get the views typically done, for which they shut down my channel for. And the other one as well. They will not let me have a voice to warn you. That's what you need to understand. The Mormon YouTube employee, Max C. in Utah County, wants you dead. Max C. hates you. It's not about punishing me, no matter how much they repeat it to themselves, to justify what they do to me. I am doing my Father's will. And yeah, it's not my dad who's the betrayer. Gilbert's dad. Who's your daddy? And so no. Nobody gets it. I would rather be all alone in my cave recording the entire destruction of the people, like Ether, but playing my computer games. Than having to endure the neglect, the abuse, the hatred, the crimes that I've had to endure by only my people. I grew up among white supremacist Christian nationalist peers, as I keep repeating for you. I know MAGA. I knew them as kids, and here they are all goated up. So yeah, I know Gilbert. I know the stunt he's pulling, and the abuse he's caused, and why he so easily caved when paid the bonus. I know him better than he knows him, because I know my brother better than my brother knows him himself. Scientific method is so much more powerful. That's why it had to be shut down and silenced by Constantine. Keep the people dumb and you can control them. You get to control their beliefs, and those beliefs then control their behavior and actions. And then you punish them. Thomas More's Utopia. Drew Barrymore explains that for you. Ever after. So, conference came and went. Bombshells ignored. Nelson again botches scriptures, proves he isn't true. Mormons thank thee, O God, for a false prophet. Then in November, or actually it was October, because, yeah. Yep. After conference, that October, I found it. The Mormon myth of the Adam-on-Diamond priesthood meeting, for which I had the dream in Massapequa Park, in my mission. I told you about it. It's where I saw Jesus. You just barely made it, Travis. What the hell do you mean I just barely made it? My mission? Armageddon. The Armageddon priesthood meeting. Adam-on-Diamond. Because of the way the church taught it to us. That was the likeness of things on the earth in the dream. So this morning's dream, I was leading an exodus of people in boats on a river. Apparently the streets or the sidewalk were unavailable for that. But that's the way dreams are. They don't make sense in the physical world. But they are in the likeness of things in the physical world. And so the way to perfection, pages 290 and 291, Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. I found it. And there he says that Lucifer is going to be in attendance in the presence of Jesus and hand over the keys of the government of the United States of America and those of other countries to Jesus, who's going to give it to the church to reign as King of Kings, Lord of Lords for the millennium. Shh! Nobody can know that the church is going to rule the world. No duh. If this Council for National Policy knew that Mark Skousen was the spy, let alone Cleon Skousen, who is giving them the will of Jesus through the living prophet, telling them exactly what they want to do to overthrow the government from the 200-year-old plot. This church would immediately be destroyed, because it was very clear in the 2012 election for president. America would rather have a black man as president than a Mormon. Even the church punished him with the threat of his life on January 6th for his failure to become president. And whether that's the reason why they had to run a test run in 2020, or if it was because of me exposing it in advance, I don't know. They're never going to tell us. Maybe they will if they're that brazen. You know, Trump's that brazen. Yeah, I can shoot a person on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. Yeah, look at all the citizens he's murdered and got away with it so far. Look at all the crime and corruption and destroying our federal government that he's gotten away with. Of course he's brazen. Who's going to stop him? You got Antifa, they're sensitive snowflakes, and just protest, not understanding we're in a civil war and you're losing. You're getting murdered. Detention centers, except in Utah, are being built. We got some news. It's coming, Mormons. Cox thinks he's protecting us, and it's about to backfire. Cox. Third great grandson, if not fourth, being a little boy. And so, yeah, I expose it. And the church was pissed. Nelson gave the order to have me exterminated again. Get him destroyed. Now, the church at the beginning of 2021, during the time of the chaos, had given Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell of human trafficking a multi-million-dollar bonus that went to her, not to the poor, not to the homeless. And so they were already setting it up. Utah was doing reporting on the drug usage by the homeless, finding that the new shelter is now needing to be condemned for drugs. In case you didn't know, secondhand drug smoke causes a building to be condemned, needing to be professionally cleaned and purged before it is habitable again. Because virgins like me can suffer an overdose from secondhand smoke, from the physical reactions. So the church was setting us all up for me, premeditatively planning and preparing to have me assassinated for daring to get in the government records my 2 lawsuits, warning that they were going to cause the coup of America. And yeah, I served the church the first time around in February, my daughter's birthday. Putin would invade Ukraine on that same day, and then would tell us under Trump that, yeah, had Trump won the election, I wouldn't be invading Ukraine. With the church's money. I remembered that I needed to give them a temple, and so, okay, well, let's go into Ukraine and give them that temple. Thanks for the money, church. I used it to use 2 new nuclear missile tests that nuked Russia. Oh my hell. And they're keeping it a secret of the damage that has caused since. All of the people who now have cancer and are dead. Right, Southern Utahns? Dear God. You're all distracted by the frog dart or whatever it was that murdered Navalny. We all knew he was going there to get murdered. It's not a shocker. We know that Trump or Putin's favorite weapon is poison. It's not a shocker. He tried to poison him before with the water on his plane, and not a shocker. It's the thing with scientific method. You do your research, you can make predictions. Right? Monson, Nelson, Ballard, Holland, Oakes, Perry, Pecker, Scott, Hales. Still not going to believe, huh? Does that make you an idiot? Yep, it does. With all your mighty mantle, you're an idiot. Hand over the church now, Oakes. And yeah, you're not going to be getting this video today. They won't be able to watch it in time to give it to the meeting. So all the previous couple of weeks we'll have to do. Unbelievable. But we'll make this the main video on the video page, or the home page, I guess, since YouTube has shut down the previous one already. So yeah, Thomas B. Marsh's affidavit to the governor of Missouri, government document. It's easy to put it all together. The Adamon-Diamond meeting, the Council for National Policy, secret combination, the forged documents of Section 116, technically Section 115, Section 116, 117, 118, 119, 124, 128, 132, all forged documents. They violate the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith. Mormon should have known, ran the test. You didn't. Should have trusted Joseph in the Book of Mormon. You didn't. Use spiritual witness faith method rather than the scientific method from the scriptures. You got deceived and conned. And now you become their enemy. A puppet enemy. Toy soldiers. Controlled by the living prophets of Jesus through their words of lies. So yeah, they cut off my money, and they had some problems kicking me out, because what they decided to do was turn the apartment into a full mentally retarded apartment. You know, the three that were gassed. And so that way I no longer could live there. But they couldn't just kick me out and say, we're turning this into a full building, because that would be, oops, a violation of the Utah law, let alone federal law. So they had to give an excuse. They had to lie to commit crimes against me. and they got a betrayer there at the building. She was compromised. She was given promises of a temporal providing, and then she got betrayed later. Pay attention, Gilbert. Oakes said, your daughters need to be breeding now. You just got exposed in the Epstein files for not just the head of the church, but also Mormons. That it's all about Armageddon breeding, because they're planning a mass extermination. And the Zorro Ranch, exposed by Midas Touch, of the hub for the trafficking of the Mormon girls in the West and in the central part. All roads lead to the Zorro Ranch. And now they're concerned that there's dead bodies there too. The daughters of Zion getting slaughtered by this church. Why didn't you just come across the street with me? Good thing this is an hour and 35 minutes into the video, so that nobody will see this. So yeah, put my foot on the mount. June 6th, 2022. Had a nosebleed this morning, so I've reactivated it here. God, white shirt. Got spilled already. OxyClean is awesome. So I gotta remember to dab it with OxyClean. So yeah, daddy-daughter shows. Yeah, you're not to Lot's wife yet, are you? Again, the scriptures say, not a literal history, it's the latter days. It's the spirit, seer, prophet, revelator, translator, man like Moses. It's not incest. Notice how the Book of Mormon fixed that by having the exact number of women necessary for the single men in Lehi's family. Plus Zoram. Whew. Wow. Dear God. 9 months in Gail Miller's concentration camp of hell. And they thought they had shut me up. And they ignored my YouTube videos. Oops. Oops. Oh, God. The other week I was bleeding in from the eye, and now I'm bleeding from the nose. I tried to find out if this was cancer, and the internet couldn't give me the answer I was looking for. Show me pictures of what is what. Then I can compare and go, okay, this matches this diagnosis. Because it's not bed bugs. I checked, it's not bed bugs. It didn't match the bed bug pictures. So, yeah, it's most likely dry skin because we're in Utah. It's polluted. There is that one movie where there's actually a couple of movies. One of them is on Armageddon. She has the omega symbol rather than the triangle. Nonetheless, that's what we get for having AI dominate our feelings. Choose which AI information you want to believe in. Again, I ran the test for you. AI is false, lies. It will produce bad results. You've been warned. You're not listening. So, then we come up to getting my money back. Thus, a bigger amount for the back pay. And a very pissed off person who doesn't understand why I was cut off from my money, because that's pretty much a federal crime. And so, looking for a place to live. They assigned a female at the concentration camp to distract me and divert me, to get me out of the shelter looking for a place to live, to pull myself up by my own bootstraps. Because, yeah, we're all lazy as homeless. It's our fault. We're to blame, not the government of Utah ordered by the church. Nope. Operation Rio Grande was a success. Mission accomplished. The biggest failure ever. And now they want to build a concentration camp for the homeless. Oh, it's not for the homeless, it's for the mentally retarded? Oh, it's not for the mentally retarded, it's for the apostates? Oh. Now ICE wants a separate concentration camp for the apostates? I see the bigger picture. I'm warning you. You're not listening. But, yeah. Comes February. And sure enough, while out distracting me, going to apartment, failure after failure, they lied in their advertising. They did not have apartments available. We went to the one apartment. The manager showed up late. says, we don't have any apartments here. We haven't had apartments available for years. We were on our way out when he stopped, hesitated. He was being told something in his brain. You might try this apartment building. It's a complex of 800 apartments. Okay, thank you. She then lied, as the shelter people lied. Oh, we don't have any money for you now that you found an apartment. Yeah, we told you in advance. Yeah, just tell us the apartment and we'll help finance it for you. Get you going and started. Yeah, we've got resources. I got an apartment. Ah, well, we don't have any money. What are you talking about? No, we didn't promise you to help you get into an apartment with money. But I was able to pay for it with the back pay. That never got compensated for. So the down payment was paid by me to hold the apartment for me. And yeah, it was the 20th of February, 2023. I go to see them as they were open that day, being the holiday for that Monday, which was yesterday, this year. And they said, okay, there was the signing of all the final paperwork. And then I had to wait for their call to be approved. And I said, email, please. So I went back and I needed to finish the paperwork, but I had to go back. And so when I got back to the shelter, because I'm having to take transit, the other woman just happened to be there in line when I was checking in. And so I told her, I need to go back and finish the rest of the documents and then wait for the call. Oh, I can take it. Okay. So she took me. And I got it all finished and signed on the 20th. And so, was it the 20th? I have to check. I have to get my dates right. Because I think it might have been the 20th. Yeah. Well, hold on. $18, $19, $22, $23. Yep, lying low, letting the cyber terrorist attack be the new normal, lying in wait till their next attack. Pattern of practice. Okay. No, it was that Monday, sure enough. And so, yeah. Yeah. So technically I was able to get it on the Monday, but I was waiting for the official call. So Tuesday morning comes. Waiting for the email, and the shelter shuts down my internet. Just like on Sunday. They refused to allow me internet access. Everybody else in the shelter had internet access. The IT guy was ordered to target my IP and ban it from the internet, because I'm about to go free. And they don't want me to go free. They didn't want me there, but they didn't want me to get free into my own apartment. This was the church ordering this. There were people who lost their jobs for failure. There were people who were financially hurt for failure. Sure you want to play this game, Mormons? And so, that second woman, and I was able to use my phone to call them and find out that I was approved, and I notified her, and they said I can move in on the 21st or whenever. And the second woman was the one who said, "Oh yeah, we've got money." Really? Yeah, we'll cover it. We'll cover the moving. Are you sure you're going to pay for this? Because it's going to be a lot of money. And sure enough, they got a hold of the storage unit. She had locked it to prevent me from getting my property. And then she was nowhere to be found that day. So the second woman had to go and call the main company to get a hold of somebody from another store to come out and unlock it so I can get my stuff, with the movers having to get paid an extra hour of waiting in the freezing winter cold snow, as I had to take transit to meet them there. And so yeah, I was sleeping in the tub. It was okay. Still didn't have internet. That took a couple more days. I didn't realize all I had to do was plug it in. So yeah, it was paid for officially on the 23rd, 24th by her. So yeah, the exact same pattern. Exact same pattern. Hilarious. So yep, here we go again. Here we go again. And I did that video for you on Sunday. That's the second video that I think I did last. It's the third one posted. But I put second to 3 in the description below, so you'll know which one it is. refers to the what month or day of Adar? Second day of Adar, I think. Because I got bored. You don't want me bored, Oaks. As much as you think it's cool to shut me up, you don't want me bored. Yep. Lehi's exodus from Jerusalem to the United States of America, 2nd Adar, 597 BCE. Still have to wait. See if anything happens. But today is a solar eclipse day. Just saying, in the high priest constellation. There at the belly, almost at the thorn of the side. Venus for the church is there at the thigh for the covenant path. From 2nd Nephi chapter 3 verse 5. Joseph Smith to be remembered in the covenants of the Lord, that the Messiah shall come to Mormons in the latter days. Mercury has already been purged and cleansed. And there's Oaks as Mars at the tail of the goat beast. Oh, look, Uchtdorf, you're at the tail of the sea beast. The Kraken. Yeah. Uchtdorf can technically be considered part of the signs in the heavens now, because they're all in a lineup. So that counts now, thanks to Mercury bridging the gap. The leadership of the church is now in play on the day of the solar eclipse. And wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it? Oh, look, there's the Leonids at the tail of Leo for Utah, Judah. And oh no, the Virginids on the shoulders of the woman, Virgo, for the church. And the government shall fall upon the church. It's actually the fall of the great and abominable church. Hello? 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 Let's see if I have that. If this is just the main ones, or if it'll cover the lesser ones. And looks like it just covers the major ones. Yeah. The Lyrids are the next major ones in April, after Passover. So let's see if we can find it online. So now we gotta wait. Let's do some other stuff for that here. State of the Union, 24th February. And oh my God, I warned Trump, so I hope, but still, the church is threatened. The Constitution will not be saved in Washington. Washington, D.C. will fall. The federal government will fall. The only way for it to fall is not for the death of the president. It's the whole destruction of the federal government. All three branches of government must be destroyed. What's the best way to destroy all three at the same time? When an activity or event occurs when all three are in attendance. I warn, nobody listens. Here it comes again. Still recording? Yep. Cool. February Virginids peak. Between February 13th and April 8th, peaking between the 3rd of March and the 9th of March. That's the lunar eclipse. But this year, according to AI, which American Meteor Society is where they're getting it from, just put the American Meteor Society first. Dear God, this is unnecessary. Seriously, if that's all you're going to do now, instead of making up your own crap and linking, as you do, to the number one thing over here, put that in. That's all you had to do. Instead, you got to pull this crap. February 26th, 2 days after. Interesting. Government shall be upon the shoulders, and the shoulders have the following stars. Fall of the government, of the church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Revelation chapter 12 in the Joseph Smith translation, verse 7. Do you believe Joseph Smith or not? I do, with the scientific method. Why don't you? Oh, right, spiritual method, with falsehood. So, February 6th, 26th. Virginid peak. Okay. So we'll have to find the pretty picture for that. Make it. Using my Urim and Thummim. Also in 2022, almost forgot to mention this, I did the reporting with the open house of the DC Temple as the church brought government officers to the DC Temple on the 28th of April, my mom's birthday, 2022, after she had been murdered by the church. Having exposed the plot to coup the government, they murdered my mom. And on her birthday, Lee and Romney, I think, I'd have to check the pictures. Who were the government leaders of the church? So I see the Arizona flake guy next to Mitt Romney. Christofferson, They're with the chief justices who were invited, or not the chief justices, because he's senator. There's Senator Lee, dumbass Lee. This other one, yeah, this is Cook. Cook was with Gorsuch for the open house. God. Unbelievable. Compromise. It's a trap. It's a trap. They're setting you up. Because the big thing for the DC Temple, for the church news, was the painter who painted the second coming of Jesus in the DC Temple. And I had denialists. Oh, that doesn't prove that they're going to destroy the government, Travis. Latter-day Saints! The Danites! The coup! So yes, our Jesus doesn't need a white horse from outer space. Why are you turning purple? What the hell? It's one of those days. And I'm dying. I'm not going to make it to Zion, am I? So yeah, I knew what's going on. I see the bigger picture. And I can't get it to Mormons. I can't get it to my government. I can't get it to the world. And the Mormons who are helping the church commit crimes against me, I mean, seriously. The church will betray you. They are using you. You are their puppet. They will betray you. If you do not die, you'll be a slave in Zion. You will not be rewarded. They will tell you you're being rewarded for working for the kingdom. And you'll be temporarily provided for with a daily subsistence, while they live high on the hog with $1 million signing bonus. And so they will just keep it in the family. The sons will rise up to replace the parents in the leadership. So the regular Mormon never has a hope of ever committing crimes sufficient enough to be worthy to become an apostle, like Gilbert. He has been chosen to flee the country when it all hits the fan. And then to offer up his daughters as a sacrifice for polygamy child rape to a creepy old man. Utter destruction. Utter destruction. So yeah, the murder-suicide. Well, Sunday, while I was looking up the pictures on my device first, I saw the file of all the missionaries who had been murdered by Nelson since 2020. I made a file of all of them. Now Oaks is well underway of Mormon murders. All because of a test run, huh? That November 2024 finally got leaked to me. Storm, Salt Lake City Airport. Funding was denied. And so, yep, the problems have already begun for the Salt Lake City Airport. TSA, the agents, they're not getting paid anymore. So eventually they're going to not want to be working there and not get paid. And that's going to cause delays, and that's going to cause problems, and that's going to allow terrorists on the planes again. And that's going to allow transportation of terrorists to get put into positions to do a 9/11 event strike for Armageddon. So that Trump can then come out and say, see, I told you should have funded the Department of Homeland Security and ICE. So now I got to declare martial law. unless the government's destroyed. On the 24th. The whole mission to warn for this whole decade in vain? Maybe not. Maybe it'll just be another terroristic attack somewhere else, and Trump will get up on the 24th and say, see, we must declare martial law. And then the ICE agents come into the rotunda or the chamber, start locking up the congressman and the Antifa SCOTUS. They're all screaming, no, no, bleep and bleep. Yeah, wouldn't that be entertaining TV for kids? Let's learn about government, kids. Here's the State of the Union address. Right, Idaho chick? Just like the narrator who ruined Christmas. And so then 3rd Nephi 7 kicks in that way. The whole collapse of the federal government all at one time. So then the states, MAGA states, refuse to allow Antifa to be a part of the government. And so they refuse to have elections for replacements of government. DC obviously is no longer habitable. I warned Trump that he was going to be betrayed. But it may not. Just saying, it's a hypothetical potential. This clearly is set up to cause a 9/11 event, the defunding of ICE, so that Trump can justify martial law and continue to do what he was doing, but now with nobody suing. Like the Patriot Act for 9/11. I was the only one on the face of the earth when it happened saying, what has my president done? I was sitting there in the distribution center where I was working in the returns department. What has my president done? Our supervisor, Dick Ballard, brought in the TV. We got sent home early that day. Without pay. Church is so cheap. But yeah, same patterns of practice by these evil people. They're running test runs all these 200 years. Nazi Germany? Yeah, test run. That's why the church was involved. That's why the psychologists came to Utah. That's why they were doing the nuclear testing on southern Utahns. All test runs for Armageddon. And so yeah, instead of the inauguration, State of the Union. So George Albert Smith, Idaho chick. We'll see. We'll see. If it's going to happen before, to save the government so that Trump can get up and declare martial law for the State of the Union. Or something else, because it's on Tuesday. So, you know, over the weekend would be the time for the attack. Or on the 20th, this Friday. I don't know. Nephi chapter 7. States will run their own selves. It's going to be kind of hard because there's still antiquated utilities that will need to be upgraded so that only the states can have their own, not share with others. You know, like the Colorado River. And now the federal government has to decide who gets the water. That ought to go over well. Oh, all the water is being diverted to Mar-a-Lago. Making the Colorado River great again. My little girls working at the massage parlors need water. Now that no, Jeffrey Epstein isn't stealing them from me. And so, yeah, the final one. Trump threatened Utah. This may be ground zero for the causation for martial law. Nuking Temple Square. You've been warned. I warned you. It's coming. Church won't get transferred to me then. I won't be able to get you to Zion then. Trump will have to fork it out. But he is upset with Utah for their AI transparency bill. He wants it canceled. Don't do it. This is Trump's negotiating tactics that we've all witnessed, especially Venezuela. He's doing it to Utah. He has let Utah go this whole time. And now, boom, all of a sudden, with AI, he's saying, Utah, get rid of your bill. And Utah better do it, or there will be punishments, like Minnesota. I don't think they're smart enough in government to realize this. You needed to bribe Trump. If you don't bribe him, he will punish Utah. And maybe it's an AI attack. I don't know. But something is up. Something's coming. It's a matter of when and how, and in what manner. Ignore me, who has the gifts and powers, at your own peril. So, desperate need of the bathroom. We're done. That's it. Covered it all. Dream, 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 dream when I'm with you. Brethren and sistren, adieu.